There are many stick figures in Alan Becker's cinematic universe, which spans across animator versus animation, animation versus Minecraft, and a bunch of other one-off episodes. And in this video, I'm going to be recapping every stick figure individually, talking about their personalities, abilities, and key moments in the series. So let's start off with the main 5 protagonists of Alan Becker's channel, the Color Gang, which are seen in AvA, AVM, and the other spin-off episodes. All of them are introduced in the AvA episode 4, where we see Alan himself animating Orange when Alan leaves the room and Orange comes to life. He starts exploring around and then finds this site right here, sticksfight.com, where we see the rest of the stick gang, red, yellow, green, and blue. And they are fighting, because that's what they do. Orange, wanting a piece of the action, breaks in, but the others are now interested in this outside world, and so they start exploring Alan's PC. That's a quick introduction of the gang, and now I want to go into each individually, starting with Red. Red is an animal lover, and he has a pet pig, who is a main protagonist in AVM Season 3, by the way. Red is a bit aggressive and impatient, often being the one to go into battle first, and sometimes he's a bit reckless, but he also adapts very quickly, especially when it comes to using the environment to his advantage, and is strong in close combat, whether it's using his fists or a sword. Red is also a bit childish at times, often being a little bit of a prankster, and is a silly little guy. In AVM episode 27, Red ends up meeting some monsters in Monster School, and after being put in a team with some other monsters, Red shows that he does have some leadership skills. And this episode is also where he gets his yellow headband, which is something that he uses as a weapon in the upcoming Animation Versus game. Red also gets taken control of by Herobrine twice, but I'll talk about that later in the video. Now let's move on to Yellow. Yellow is great with redstone. He is a very smart stick figure. He's seen building redstone contraptions and even teaching the rest of the gang about redstone, which by the way is like technology in Minecraft. Speaking of technology, Yellow is good with it in general. This is why in Animator vs. Animation episode 8, he's the one that steps up to the Dark Lord's computer and hacks into it and literally brings Alan's cursor into the outer net. He somehow figured that out. Oh, and back to Minecraft stuff, Yellow is also pretty good with commands. Speaking of Minecraft stuff, in AVM 28, when some pillagers lock him, Blue, and a bunch of villagers up, in order to fight back, this is where Yellow using a staff comes into play, because a few villagers help create it for him, and he uses it in battle, and even uses it against King Orange. And later in AVM 30, after King Orange changes his ways, he gives his own staff to Yellow, and Yellow is commonly seen using this staff in multiple new episodes. He also messes around with a lucky block and is the first to find the lucky dimension, where he messes around with lucky block stuff. Something else is that Yellow is very caring for his friends, and he has a strong bond with Blue. He's also quite a curious stick figure, but that can lead to him being quite unhinged. Now let's go to Green. Green is commonly seen using a fishing rod, using it for travel or in battle. Others use fishing rods as well, but Green uses it quite a lot, so much so that it's incorporated in his moveset in Animation Versus. Green is also a musician and has the ability to sing notes. This is a skill that he learns in AVM 29, and this way he uses to confront Purple, who also has this ability. Not only is he good with music, but he's also good at building. Green has quite a diverse skill set. He's also the one that has the influencer arc, where he starts a YouTube channel, which is a real YouTube channel you can go to, by the way, and he starts becoming obsessed with making videos to the point where he disregards his friends' feelings, but later he realizes his wrongdoings and stops being obsessed with YouTube. But yeah, sometimes he is a bit ego-filled, but he can also realize his wrongdoings, and he is also a very forgiving stickman. And also he has a strong bond with Orange, and also Purple. Now let's go to Blue. Blue commonly uses a bow / ranged weapons. He doesn't really use it from a distance, instead using his archery skills kind of up close. But he's mostly a pacifist, and is the most peaceful of the group. But I can't mention Blue without mentioning potions. Blue in Minecraft is very good with potions, creating them with ease and using them to his advantage. He doesn't use them a ton, but he will use them when needed. Also in AVM 4, he decides to try some nether wart, and yeah, that kind of becomes an addiction for him. Oh, and as you can see, he likes planting / farming, and he's pretty good at that. He's also a very good cook. And lastly, he has a strong bond with Yellow. Now let's move on to Orange, aka the Second Coming, whom I talked about in AvA 4, where he just kind of comes to life. But yeah, he comes to life, meets the rest of the gang, explores Alan's computer, but then Alan comes back and starts to panic and deletes all of the other stick figures. But when he goes to delete Orange, the computer says that he's too resistant, showing his name, the Second Coming, aka the Chosen One's return. We even see Orange glitch out and see the Chosen One for a split second. This is probably because he was meant to be the Chosen One's return, but this seems to be retconned as he is now his own character, and the Chosen One is his own character. But yeah, angry about this, the Second Coming starts trying to destroy Alan's friendships and also causes chaos on Alan's PC when he gets a pen and starts drawing and animating some characters. And Alan realizes just how good Orange is at animating. And after Alan traps him and brings back the Second Coming's friends, they make an agreement that the Second Coming will animate for Alan. Oh, and during this conversation, we can see that the Second Coming can speak, literally using text. He's the only stick figure that can do this. But yeah, by the end of AvA 4, him and Alan are friends slash co-workers, animating together to make some cool animations. But the Second Coming is still friends with the others and even learns to fight from them, and he gets really good at it. This single episode right here covers a lot of the Second Coming's core characteristics, but I would be crazy to not mention AvA episode 8, the showdown with the Dark Lord, where after the Chosen One is taken down and the Dark Lord literally kills all of the Second Coming's friends by using this sword thing that instantly disintegrates anything, the Dark Lord stabs Orange, but it doesn't do anything. He beats him up and puts him into a wall where we see this. Yep, the Chosen One goes into his awakened form, or the Second Coming Prime. Those are two fan names given to when he becomes this. And the Second Coming also restores his friends. Alan in a live stream said that when things are disintegrated, their code becomes jumbled up, and it's impossible to put them together, except if you're the Second Coming. This is the only time we've seen stick figures come back to life. And after he does this, the Second Coming blacks out and then wakes back up, but doesn't remember any of this. Doesn't remember going into this awakened form. And in AvA episode 10, the Second Coming sees himself on a monitor and realizes for the first time that he has these powers, but he doesn't know how to unlock them. And in AvA 12, we see him listen to Blue's advice and to just calm down, and he is currently trying to unlock it. AvA 13 has not come out yet, so we don't know if the Second Coming can just enable this awakened mode, where he becomes literally the most powerful stick figure in the entire cinematic universe. But yeah, other characteristics is the Second Coming is a brave character, but he's also quite a cautious one, and I do think he has some good leadership skills. Oh, and he's also very tired. He's commonly seen sleeping and trying his best to stay awake, but just not managing.
One last thing I'd like to mention about him that I haven't already is that he has this ability to just sense when something is wrong. We see this at 3 different occasions where something bad happens and the Second Coming just knew about it. And this is when he's a normal stick man, not in his awakened form. It's a neat little power that he doesn't really have control over, and we'll probably be seeing more of it in the future.
Now let's talk about Victim. Victim is the first ever stick figure in the timeline, and he was created by Alan Becker himself,
where Alan basically experimented, trying to crush the stick figure and shooting at him and such. The Victim would fight back until eventually Alan pressed the X and ended the program.
But thanks to AvA 11, we learned that that's not the end of the story,
as after he ended the program, we see him create Victim again. And the interesting thing is, Victim keeps his memories, but Alan wanted some fun and would basically torment Victim, leading to his demise only being brought back shortly later. And this cycle will repeat over and over and over again, lasting literally for months, until finally one day Victim escaped. He created a rocket and escaped Alan's laptop and started flying throughout the internet,
eventually reaching the outernet, turning gray in the process, where he would meet Mitsi. He would then help out a nearby town and then also start a company called Rocket Corp. In a short montage, we see that Victim still gets PTSD from Alan, but eventually over time he gets over it, focusing on the company and Mitsi. That was until 2011, where Newgrounds got attacked and Mitsi was ripped from the outernet and into Newgrounds, where she would be killed by the Chosen One. Agent would witness this and then leave, but we the audience know that it wasn't just the Chosen One that caused the chaos, but the Dark Lord as well, something Agent didn't see. Anyways, Agent escapes and makes his way back to Rocket Corp, where Victim puts a memory scanner thing on his head, where Victim sees Mitsi die in front of him, and he too believes that this was done by the hands of the Chosen One. And later in 2018, he sees some footage of Alan and the Chosen One working together. So he sends out the mercenaries to capture the Chosen One, which they eventually do. And the Chosen One is thrown in this box, where Victim, who doesn't normally have any powers, is given powers in this place, and starts battling and beating up the Chosen One. And he interrogates him to find out how to get to Alan. But the Chosen One doesn't budge, so he puts the memory scanner on him, and eventually finds Yellow running the Dark Lord's computer during the AvA episode 8 fight, which he eventually tracks down and uses to display a screen to Alan, where Victim tricks Alan into renaming him to Hacker. Now he actually has special abilities, like lightning, flight, and certain other tools. And he goes to Alan's PC and has a battle with him, beating up his mouse and taking out all his rage and anger that has been built from his trauma. But eventually Alan turns off his computer, leaving Victim in this gray box area, where he meets the Dark Lord, who tells him that he can bring Mitsi back, and so Victim teams up with the Dark Lord, even though it's likely that the Dark Lord was actually the character that killed Mitsi. But yeah, Victim is a very intelligent character with great leadership skills, and he even has his silly little moments. He's also a pretty passive and nice character. Well, that was until Mitzi's death, and then finding out the one who quote-unquote caused it is teamed up with Alan Becker, the person that caused him pain so many years ago. Now let's move on to the Chosen One. The Chosen One first appeared in AvA 2 after being created and named by Alan, who was originally going to name him Victim after Victim escaped, but then Alan changed his mind and named him the Chosen One, which automatically gave him superpowers. This is because names have like levels of powers and abilities. Like Victim, when named, didn't get any powers, or at least he used to not have any. Anyways, the Chosen One can shoot fire, breathe fire, has ice powers, laser vision, and can fly. Alan later captures him and imprisons him to make him destroy Papa Bad, but he escapes in AvA 3 and eventually teams up with the Dark Lord and causes Alan's PC to completely fry, causing the blue screen of death. But right before this happens, they escape. This is when the Chosen One and the Dark Lord would cause chaos throughout the internet. But eventually, the Chosen One would start to question their reign of terror. And after the Dark Lord creates the Virobots, the Chosen One envisions what the Dark Lord would do, and he is mortified. And he shows his disagreement, which leads to them fighting, just to end with the Dark Lord pressing the button, sending the Virobot, while the Chosen One punches him away. So the Chosen One chases after the Virobot, makes his way to Alan's PC, has a battle with the Virobot, using this like golden full power move right here, leading to the Virobot getting beaten up and destroyed. Then for the Chosen One to head back to the alternate, with the Color Gang following him, having a battle with the Dark Lord, and then eventually the Second Coming obliterating the Dark Lord, which totally killed him for real. Anyways, currently in AvA 12, when Victim becomes Hacker, he renames the Chosen One to No One, and the Chosen One loses all of his abilities and falls into the water below. Again, AvA 13 does not exist as of when I'm recording this, so we don't know what happens to the Chosen One next. But yeah, the Chosen One is a very skilled, quick thinking, and agile stick figure who protects people when need be. Now let's move on to the Dark Lord. The Dark Lord was created by Alan in AvA 3 because he wanted someone to fight the Chosen One, since the Chosen One at the time escaped from his shackles and was destroying Alan's PC. When creating the Dark Lord, Alan literally coded him to fight the Chosen One, and he does so, but after some battling, the Chosen One wins but decides to team up with the Dark Lord to attack Alan, and the Dark Lord agrees. And you know what happens next. They escape just before Alan's PC dies, and they both cause chaos throughout the internet for many years. But thanks to AVM 0, we could actually see how different the Chosen One and the Dark Lord actually are. During their reign of chaos, they eventually travel to Minecraft, where they cause more destruction. But the Chosen One picks up a block and starts to build. In fact, he starts exploring the world of Minecraft, discovering its beauty and wonder. Meanwhile, the Dark Lord is killing everything that moves and absolutely obliterating anything. Then in AvA 7, the Dark Lord creates the Virobot. The Chosen One disagrees, they battle a little bit, but the Virobot is sent to Alan's PC. So the Chosen One goes to Alan's PC, takes care of the Virobot, and then goes back to the alternate where AvA episode 8 happens. And during this, we see the Dark Lord and the Chosen One battle, and around halfway through, the Dark Lord puts on this wristband, which gives him even more power and also these virus sword thingies. After everyone is taken down, he goes to send the Virobots to lay waste to the internet, but of course this is when the Second Coming awakens, destroys all the Virobots, and then beats the crud of the Dark Lord. Except in AvA 12, we know that he is actually still alive, that the Virobots pieced him back together, and that he is aware that Rocket Corp is after the Chosen One, leading to this moment right here where he is now teaming up with Victim, telling him that he can bring Mitsi back to life. Oh, and the wristband of power, thanks to the
the Second Coming, and his giant laser has now merged with his hands. So yeah, the Dark Lord is a skilled and powerful foe who loves chaos and destruction, and it's funny that he's similar to Alan at first, wanting torment and such, but Alan, along with the Chosen One, matured over time, but the Dark Lord has only continued to crave torment. Oh, and hey, would you look at that? We are around halfway through the video, which means that you're probably enjoying it, so maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. I talk about indie shows on YouTube a lot, and I'm not gonna lie, it's mostly about AvA. Oh, and by the way, I do have membership for my channel now, so go check that out if you want to. Shout out to Epic Bepic for being the first. Now let's talk about Purple. Purple was first seen in AVM 8, shown as a mysterious stick figure that Blue and Green then follow into the portal. They eventually catch up to Purple, who is ruling a village as king, but then they start trading with the villagers, which kind of messes up the economy, which causes Purple to get frustrated and throw them into jail. Later, Blue and Green bribe their way out and then start trading. Purple notices that something is up, and when he goes to check this out and sees what all the commotion is about, he gets angry and wants to attack. But then the villagers go and take their resources and then build a statue of Purple, which changes Purple's mind. He then befriends Green and Blue, giving them crowns and then showing them a secret room which leads them to the end. A bunch of craziness happens as they try to defeat the Ender Dragon. A long story short, Purple is met with a choice: save Green and Blue, who are about to fall in the void as their levitation potion is running out, or he could go for the dragon egg. And what does Purple choose? He chooses the latter, selfishly abandoning his friends. So thankfully, after their levitation potion runs out, they are saved by others. Anyways, the Ender Dragon goes after her egg, and then chaos ensues where Purple finally gives back the dragon egg. And then everyone gets mad at Purple, and Purple is dragged away by some villagers. We would then see Purple in the League of Legends video, where the Stick Gang would fight him, but then after Purple loses, he sits alone by himself sad, and the Stick Gang actually feel bad for him and show mercy to him, and so Purple befriends them again. We would then see Purple again at the end of AVM 21, where he wants to show the Stick Gang something and they follow. What he shows them is a parkour course, having them travel through it and get points. But eventually he has the Stick Gang go into different paths and each go in their own section thinking that they win. What has really happened is that Purple has trapped them in this obsidian area, disguised as this fun parkour course, and we later see Purple walk up to this mysterious character right here, King Orange. And we see that King Orange has a plan to trap the Stick Gang in this parkour course, and for Purple to travel to Alan's PC and get the Minecraft icon and give it to King Orange. But Green had actually escaped the cube and was spying on this meeting and knows about Purple's betrayal. Eventually, Purple faces off against the Second Coming and Red, snatching the Minecraft icon and escaping, bringing it to King Orange. But when Purple tries to hold the staff, just like how King Orange said it would happen, Purple gets knocked down. But Purple is still loyal and continues to fight the Stick Gang until he is snagged down by some fishing rods and beckoning for King Orange to help. But King Orange abandons Purple, which causes Purple to run off into this nether portal. Green follows, and then eventually after some music training, Green finds Purple and confronts him. And through notes, he asks Purple why he trapped them, but Purple pushes this away. Green again asks him why he abandoned them to fall into the void, but Purple again ignores. But again, Green pushes and asks Purple if he is good or bad, but Purple lashes out in anger until he makes his way to the top of the mountain and decides to open up to Green, telling Green about his family and that his father wanted him to be a fighter but kind of pushed him too far, feeling that Purple wasn't doing good enough. Purple's mother would defend Purple, but his father wasn't having it and eventually left the family. Purple's mother would then pass away, leaving him all alone, but Purple still wanted to live up to his father's expectations. He wanted to prove himself, show that he's worthy of being loved, and maybe showing that he has the dragon egg would be the thing to accomplish this, but it wasn't. And then he would find King Orange, someone that he saw a father figure in, someone that he thought he could have a second chance with, even if that meant pushing his friends away. But as we saw before, King Orange abandoned him, wanting only the Minecraft icon, leaving Purple all by himself. And he admits to Green that he feels like he is a bad guy. But Green tells him that it's not that black and white, that people aren't pure evil or pure good, and that he and the Stick Gang can still be friends. So Green hugs him and Purple hugs back. And so they decide to stop King Orange, which leads to AVM 30, where they have a battle with King Orange, doing everything they can to stop him, but he is simply too powerful. The Color Gang and Purple continue to try and put an end to his madness, but nothing works. However, Purple does not give up and decides to face King Orange by himself, giving it all he can to reach King Orange, but he fails. But King Orange, having a change of heart, decides to to chase after Purple, eventually jumping into the beam after Purple and finding him and hugging him, and actually becomes the father that Purple needed. And this is how it is current day, being with King Orange and being great friends with the Color Gang. So yeah, Purple had a rough upbringing which caused him to be very conflicted, often getting angry, greedy, and selfish. But this may simply be his outwards emotions, because Purple in his heart was longing for love, longing for a father figure, feeling that he had to work for someone's love, not really knowing what unconditional love was. Purple has shown that he has loyalty and also dependency, and he is also quite brave. Oh, and he commonly uses an elytra, and he also knows how to sing. Now let's talk about Purple's father, aka Dark Blue, aka Navy. Not much is known about him other than that he was pretty rough to Purple. He wanted to teach Purple how to fight, but Purple wasn't living up to his standard, and so he eventually left the family. It's unknown where he currently is, and if Purple has later met up with him after his mother's death to try and earn his acceptance. But yeah, all we know that he is kind of maybe abusive, or was just a little rough and mostly frustrated. Now let's talk about Purple's mother, aka Pink. Again, we don't know much about Pink other than that she stood up for her son and then later died to an unknown illness. Purple, by the way, still visits her grave. I also just wanted to quickly mention that Purple, Navy, and Pink make a cameo appearance in AvA 11. Now let's talk about King Orange. King Orange was first seen in AVM 22, having recruited Purple and his Piglin army as he had a plan for Purple to retrieve the Minecraft icon so that he can put it into his staff and gain an unfathomable amount of power. Throughout AVM Season 3, he tricks Mei of the Stick Gang, showing that he'll use deception to get what he wants, and he shows just how powerful he is when he needs to battle. Anyways, he finally gets the Minecraft icon from Purple, puts it in his staff, and gains a ton of power. But when Purple tries to hold the staff just like he promised, he knocks Purple away, showing that he was also using Purple to get what he wants. And when Purple later begs him for help, he doesn't care. He never cared about Purple. All he wanted was what he was after in the beginning, to get the Minecraft icon for his plan. Eventually he is knocked down, but after some more battling, he not only gets the Minecraft icon back, but he gets two, which he merges together, places it into his staff, and gets an extreme amount of power, creating this black hole thing. Seriously, what is his plan? Well, we finally learn about his backstory in AVM 30, where we see King Orange and his son, who is Gold. We see them in the Outernet exploring the town. When Gold sees an advertisement for Minecraft, begs his father to experience it, and King Orange signs him up. Gold then enters the world of Minecraft and starts playing around, but the console receives an error, and the world starts glitching out. Gold escapes Minecraft, but is stuck in the corridor, where the glitch is starting to consume and destroy him. King Orange and the workers are trying to open the door, trying to save Gold, but it is too late, and Gold is gone. King Orange lashes out at the developers, and then later at his home crashes out on a Minecraft poster. King Orange then decides to research about Minecraft, and we see that King Orange wants to destroy Minecraft because it destroyed his son, and he wants to use the elements of Minecraft against itself. He eventually learns about the command block and receives it from a mysterious source, and using a bunch of knowledge and engineering, he creates a staff which harnesses the command block's power, and after many failed attempts, he gets this staff right here, places the command block in, and it doesn't really give him what he wants. He then finds out about the Minecraft icon and realizes this sheer amount of power it has. He asks around the Outernet, but no one really knows what it is until he looks at a TV and sees the Color Gang with it. Now the Color Gang is wanted, and he's placing posters around, which Purple finds. So King Orange and Purple team up and would enter the world of Minecraft through this nether portal, which in King Orange's basement is something that he figured out how to do. Then by force, he would take control of this bastion, giving him a Piglin army. That is King Orange's backstory. He wants to use the Minecraft icon to eliminate Minecraft itself because it took away his son. But Purple and the Stick Gang aren't going to let that happen so easily. They keep fighting him, but he knocks them down. But Purple gets back up, and he gives all his strength to try and reach King Orange. King Orange retaliates, but then he starts to get flashbacks. Flashbacks to the day his son died, and King Orange starts to see the similarities between Purple and his son, starting to see his son in him. He had been so laser focused on destroying what took away his son that he was missing what was right in front of him. Maybe all this time Purple was more than just a slave to him. Maybe he did care. But then the current becomes too powerful and sweeps Purple away, just like how Gold was taken away. So King Orange drops the staff and runs after Purple, jumping into the beam, which leads him to this void area right here, where he enters his house and sees a drawing on the wall, showing him in Gold, and then Minecraft taking him away. King Orange becomes enraged and starts beating Minecraft, letting out his pain and anger. But in doing so, he started to hurt many other people. And among them all, we see Gold. But King Orange, blinded by his rage, takes Gold and continues to beat him. King Orange wants this drawing to stop, but it continues. And eventually, in Gold's place, we see Purple. King Orange continues to bang at the wall until it shatters, revealing Purple all by himself. And so, King Orange runs to him. King Orange and Purple end up being safe, but when the Stick Gang confronts him, King Orange takes off his crown, showing that he realizes his mistakes. And the Color Gang, being the forgiving gang that they are, decide to shake his hand and acknowledge his change of heart. King Orange then gives his staff to Yellow, and then him and Purple go off. We later see that they have basically become a family, but in AVM Season 5, this glitchy world corruption that killed King Orange's son is back and is threatening the Stick Gang. And in AVM 38, King Orange comes face to face with it, which reminds him of his son. Purple then takes his hand and runs away and escapes, and that is currently the latest episode of AVM at the moment. So this season might be about King Orange trying to overcome his trauma that may still haunt him. So yeah, King Orange is a very strong and very smart stick figure. He is good at leading, but also uses manipulation, deception, and brute force to try and get what he wants. Obviously, he commonly uses his staff to fight, which with different blocks in it gives him a bunch of different abilities. He can also get incredibly angry and filled with hate, as we saw in Season 3 of AVM. He became blinded with revenge, only focusing on destroying what took away Gold. But Purple, at the end of Season 3, breaks King Orange from his rage, and King Orange becomes the father that Purple never had. He also kind of acts like a father figure to the rest of the Stick Gang, helping them and protecting them. Now I want to talk about Gold. We know from AVM 30 that Gold was raised by King Orange and are still with each other in the Outernet. Anyways, they rock through this town in the Outernet exploring around, and Gold sees an advertisement for Minecraft and gets really excited. So he has King Orange sign him up, and he excitedly goes towards the giant Minecraft machine. He steps inside and seems a little nervous, but King Orange hypes him up and Gold is ready. He's then transported to the world of Minecraft, and he starts to happily explore, gathering resources and progressing through the game. But as we know, an error occurs, and this glitchy world corruption breaks out. Gold, with some quick thinking, flees the game and is trapped into this hallway, doing everything he can to escape. King Orange is on the other side, trying to pry open the door, but it is no use, and eventually Gold is consumed by the glitchiness. The reason why I put killed in quotes a while ago when Gold died to this, well, quote unquote died, is because people theorize, including me, that Gold might not actually be dead, but just consumed by the glitchiness, and that he may be appearing again in Season 5. But who knows, that's just a theory. Check out my other video if you want to see that. But yeah, Gold seems to be this happy, brave, and adventurous stick figure. He also seems to be fairly good at combat, since it seems that King Orange has trained him how to fight and defend himself. Now I want to talk about the mercenaries. There's 4 of them, so let's start with the leader. That person being Agent. So back when Rocket Corp was growing, it seemed that he signed up to be a police officer / security, but eventually became great friends with Victim and Mitsi. Eventually though, him, Mitsi, and many others would get teleported to Newgrounds, where Mitsi would get trapped under some rubble, and Agent would try and save her, but it would be too late. And when he looked up from the smoke, he would see the Chosen One. And upon seeing him, he would flee the scene and escape Newgrounds through a portal. He would slowly make his way back to Rocket Corp, where Victim would put a memory scanner on his head, where Victim and Agent for the second time would see Mitzi's death. We can even see Agent crying when he relives this. Both of them now hate the Chosen One, and Agent would basically become second in command for Victim, helping him however he can. Eventually, Agent would hold the mercenary tryouts, where he would watch, study, and rank a bunch of people so he can figure out who's the best of them and form a team. Eventually, he does so with Ballista, Primal, and Hazard, and forms the mercenaries, who eventually track down the Chosen One, capture the Chosen One and the Second Coming, bring him to Victim, where Victim would try and get information out of the Chosen One. He would do so in this box thing, with Agent on the outside using a control panel to give Victim powers and stuff. So yeah, Agent is a very smart and skilled fighter, and he uses these gadgets right here, likely given to him by Victim, to help aid him in battle. Agent cares a lot for Victim and Mitsi, being very supportive, and he likely has a ton of rage against the Chosen One and Alan, similar to Victim himself. Yippee! Now it's time for Ballista. Ballista is one of the mercenaries and has a bunch of weapons that he can spawn in, even splitting his head in half, showing a cannon gun thing. He's smart, confident, strong, fast, and even unhinged with his viciousness. Oh, and he is also animated in a pixel art kind of way, which is really cool. Next, I'm going to talk about Primal. Primal is another mercenary who is a cave drawing come to life. He is very strong and can become even stronger in his second form, aka his bestial form, which makes him taller and more muscular. He can create roots from the ground, has spears and bows, and even has advanced hearing, but he is short-tempered. Now it's time for Hazard. Hazard is the last mercenary on the list and can instantly change their body, commonly using signs as weapons. He is very skilled with his fighting, specifically in hand-to-hand combat, and oh yeah, he's two-dimensional. Now it's time for me to talk about Mitsi. Mitsi is first seen in AvA 11, where she is being drawn by this character right here, who we know from this view's name is Grace. Grace animates her and then sends her to Newgrounds, where the green life particles eventually make their way to the outer net and bring her to life. This is where she meets Victim and tries to calm him down and befriend him. Eventually they find more townfolk and she follows them into a village. She starts making friends with everyone and then sees Victim start repairing a windmill, which she accidentally destroyed. So he starts repairing it and Mitsi helps. And so with the tools that Victim had smuggled into the outer net, they help the townspeople and repair any damages that they may have had. Eventually, Mitsi looks up at the windmill and sees the rocket icon, and they start to form a business where they repair and fix stuff. And this company would become Rocket Corp, which would grow and become more and more successful over the years, with Mitsi even becoming the CEO. Victim would still have trauma from his past, but Mitsi would always be there for him. And Victim would eventually push this aside, and they were having a great life with a promising future. But as we know, at the 4-year anniversary of Rocket Corp, when everything seemed so calm and happy, Mitsi was ripped away and brought into Newground, thanks to the Chosen One and the Dark Lord causing chaos. Mitsi was now amongst the insanity, but was still trying to help people, before eventually getting stuck under some rubble, leading to this. This is where Mitsi's story ends. Well, that is unless she's brought back. But yeah, Mitsi is an enthusiastic, friendly, and kind stick figure. So much so that she is willing to risk her own life to save others, which also shows how brave she is. She also shows her intelligence and leadership skills when she was the CEO of Rocket Corp, running the company along with Victim. Oh, and of course, she and Victim are in love. Now let's talk about Bob. Bob appears in these 3 shorts right here, and basically the Second Coming draws him, and for some reason Bob has beef with Green. He continues to attack Green and just hates him, and Green has finally had enough and traps him underground, where he has been residing ever since. Green even has a dream about Bob, or I guess a nightmare, but when he awakes and checks, Bob has not escaped. Now let's talk about Corn Dog Guy. Woo! Yeah, baby! Corn Dog Guy! Corn Dog Guy also appears in 3 different shorts, but he also makes a cameo in AvA 11. He's basically super dedicated to selling corn dogs, and will often use tricky and kind of deceptive ways to do so. He also has some quick thinking when doing so. He's kind of smart, and the AvA community absolutely loves him. Next, I want to talk about the Rocket Corp workers. So we see this guy and he's working for Victim, but then all of a sudden there's a bunch of them. Well, AvA 12 shows that the Rocket Corp worker got cloned, and that's why there's a bunch of workers working for Rocket Corp. They're not really mean, they just kind of do their job. Next, I want to talk about the developers. The developers is this trio right here that works on the Minecraft machine that gold goes into. When the error happens, they try and stop the machine and try and help King Orange open the door, but to no avail, and then King Orange takes out his rage on them. Are these guys okay? Does someone want to check up on them? These are the names of the 3 stick figures. I don't know if they're official. Same with developers itself, the name developers. But yeah, this trio seems to be smart characters that are likely the ones that figured out how to get people from the outernet into the world of Minecraft. And they're also running the machine. Interestingly, 2 of them actually appear in other videos. One getting helped by Mitsi, and one of them helping with the memory scanning device. And yeah, all 3 of these are natural stick figures. Oh yeah, I should probably mention that the fandom has classified stick figures in 2 different categories: natural stick figures and artificial stick figures. Artificial stick figures are stick figures that have been drawn and then come to life after they're named, or not named. This also includes the clones and other drawings that come to life by stick figures themselves. Natural stick figures, on the other hand, are basically all the other stick figures. The fighting gang, red, yellow, blue, and green, those are considered natural stick figures since they came from the website. This also includes pretty much everyone in the outernet, including Mitsi, who yes, was drawn, but the green life particles brought her to life in the outernet. It's unknown if all the stick figures have a creator. They likely do, but you can also theorize that some of them were just naturally in the outernet. Again, likely not though. Next, I want to talk about the superhero video. This character appears in the influencer arc, specifically in episodes 1 and 3. Basically, the gang create a super glitchy video because they added a bunch of effects, but they don't like how glitchy it is, so they remove some effects and make a quote-unquote better video and upload it to YouTube. But the glitchy video actually comes to life as this character and seemingly accidentally hits the stick figures and starts a war with them. From their body language, it looks like this was unintentional and just like a glitch that happened. But yeah, they have a fight with it, and it can use parts of the video and like effects as like superpowers because it harnessed the power of those effects by eating it basically. And eventually the superhero video is thrown into the trash. Until in episode 3, it comes back and battles the stick figures again. But it really wants to just be uploaded to YouTube. And eventually it would come face to face with Green, and Green, one by one, would put the videos onto YouTube. And the superhero video would realize what he's doing and allow Green to do so. Green, in this influencer arc, was obsessed with having the perfect videos only on his channel, becoming obsessed with what the fans wanted and thought he should upload. But here, he finally gives in and gives up his obsession with YouTube by finally uploading these videos. And after he does so, the superhero video V1 is embraced for its passionate flaws and finally uploaded to YouTube. Next, I want to talk about MegaStick. So when Red gets taken control of by Herobrine makes this giant stick figure right here to fight the Stick Gang. Eventually the Stick Gang are mining it away, so Herobrine turns it into obsidian and continues to fight until he is eventually defeated. In AVM 30, this returns, as while fighting King Orange, Herobrine goes into Red once again, and the MegaStick makes a second appearance. But then Herobrine gets defeated. Next I want to talk about Hangman. Hangman appears in the Hangman short and was created by accident, and yeah, that's it. Next I want to talk about Cartoon Figure. He appears in the cartoon physics short when he's drawn by the Second Coming to test out basically cartoon physics, which he does so in the short. Next is Backrooms Entity. He appears briefly in the Backrooms short. He's kind of friendly, but kind of not. But this was just a dream. Next is AOL Instant Messenger. He's basically one of the programs that fights the Chosen One early on. Next, I want to talk about the Second Coming's drawings. Yeah, the Second Coming has drawn many things, including Bob, but I specifically want to point out these characters in AvA 4 that are basically just made to cause chaos on Alan's computer before they are deleted. And I guess the horse in AvA 4 and the flower in AvA 5 are also counted by the Wikipedia. I'm just going by the Wikipedia here. Next, I want to talk about the gray stick figures. These stick figures basically appear in the Team Blank videos, you know, like Team C's from Mr. Beast. But these videos are likely dreams by the Second Coming, and these gray stick figures aren't real. Next, I want to talk about I is going to be the main antagonist for the story mode in Animation Versus, the video game that Alan is making. And by the way, we have no idea how to spell I, because all we have is Alan saying that the character's name is I, but no spelling was given. But yeah, we don't know much about this character because story mode isn't out yet. And last, I want to talk about Conductor. Conductor is also an original character in the story mode of Animation Versus, so we don't know much about her other than that she's probably a good character that will help the Stick Gang in their journey. Wow, that was all of the stick figures. Huge shout out to 3 of the main sources that I went to. Obviously, Alan's channel is one of them. Another is the fandom Wikipedia, which had a lot of information, including this nice list of characters right here, and also these non-canon characters that I didn't talk about, but you can go research about them if you want to. And third is Moochie Likes Stories. Seriously, go check her channel out. She makes super in-depth videos about AvA. It's awesome. Like, did you know that Green commonly goes for the neck/head? There's so much detail, so I recommend watching her channel. But yeah, that's the end of this giant video. Go watch this video if you want to. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.